This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and the real star. Oh, and here we are for today's edition of the Pitstop, where you are the real star of today's show. I've lost my mind, apparently, here on Hump Day, March 14th, and happy sim racing to all of you out there, and just excited to be hanging out with my friends, talking sim racing, and I think about the evolution of this show, and it's a beautiful thing, because the whole point here is just to be informed on what's going on in sim racing and be able to chat with it with your friends. If you went to the water cooler at work and you're like, oh my god, Need for Speed had tips on how to get around Fortune Valley, people would be like, what the F are you talking about? So here's the place, probably the only place in the world that you can actually come and talk about the sims you love, the things that we love to do, and have everybody listening to your every word instead of running for the door. Yeah, happy Hump Day. I'm in my iRacing shirt today, and just trying to mix things up on a Wednesday as we are in the middle of a very exciting week in sim racing. So, what do we have going on? Let me bring down my graphic, which last night I completely forgot about. Anybody who watched the live stream, I kind of made a few mistakes yesterday. Anyway, what's going on in sim racing? At the Twitter feed for Need for Speed, and as usual, you will find all of these stories at thesimpit.com. If you just head over to the Simpit website, look for the thumbnail. Oh, it's not there. Let me refresh. Look for the thumbnail for today's show, and what do you know? You will find all the stories. So there's maybe one or two you might want to click along and follow along with when we get to them. First up, though, Need for Speed. They have a tip. So if you're into Need for Speed Payback, they have a video kind of showing you how to get around Fortune Valley and doing a little answer headquarters and just kind of helping you get more out of that game. So you can go check that out if you're a big fan of Need for Speed. Next up, Project Cars 2. Billy said he's going to be driving this car right here, right away. So you can probably see some of that on his channel. I don't know if it's for fun or for streaming or for video, but beautiful car there. Anyway, this is another one of those Yorkie guides. So if you want to learn about setup, and John mentioned this when he was on the show last week, and he talked about a Yorkie video. Most setup terminology and theory is going to carry over to any sim and any car. So if this is the car, that old, I believe that's an old Porsche. If that's a Porsche that he's using for his demonstration, explaining to you ECU and gearing settings, well, that same info is going to work on any car you go to. Maybe they'll change some of the names of some of the things, but essentially, if you think about it and figure it out, most of the parts on the car are the same, regardless of discipline. They just add more tunability and adjustability. So, go check that out. If you're, we talked yesterday in the chat about how difficult setup can be. You want some tips? It's finding out how does the ECU work? How does the gearing actually work? When and why do you make gearing changes? So go check that out, whether you play Assetto Corsa or not. Thank you, John. It's a 908. I just didn't want to say the wrong number. I was giving a lot of pats on the back to F1 2017 for their ability to stay with the car launches by all the manufacturers. As testing has gone on, they've been sort of walking that line between are we a game or are we a news channel for the sanctioning body or the series that we emulate. Well, with Assetto Competizione, Kunos has been able to do the same thing. So if you want some of your Blanc Pain GT series info, what's going on in testing, liveries, and all that same sort of stuff, you're going to find all that at the Assetto Corsa Twitter feed. So we can see what's going on now. This parallel that has never been seen before, where we are serving a purpose of marketing for these automotive real-life series. And I hope you understand how important that is. When we've had years and years and years of exclusive licenses or paying for licenses to cars and tracks, with this new trend where we are being used as a marketing tool, we're going to start seeing a little more opportunities for the sim racing world to make content and not be stepping on the toes of the manufacturers, and in some cases, maybe even getting paid or reciprocated value of some sort from them. Next up, you could have watched it last night, but Keegan Lay won last night's race in the iRacing Drivers World Championship, the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. This is the one. We talked yesterday about NASCAR power rankings and NASCAR actually putting stuff on their website. You know, the winner of this championship not only gets the, 12 grand for that one, I believe, they also get the Jostens ring. Same ring that well, not the exact same, but a Jostens NASCAR champion ring. They get the big chain. Thank you, Luca. They walk the stage. They do the whole thing. So this is a very big deal. Congratulations to him, and we'll be staying on top of that series as absolutely one of the premier series in sim racing right now. Next up from Dakar Rally, they tease us every day. Every day. Here's a new one, just showing you some of the terrain from the behind the wheel camera. And I guess the one thing that I would notice is I like seeing that suspension movement and the moving parts. You can see, you know, even it looks like even the spring might have been compressing. But what do I not? I don't see a hint of dirt coming off those tires. Still too early, maybe? Who knows? Don't know. But that's your tease of the day from Dakar. If you're looking for something to do, the third Wednesday of every month, Rick Motek has their Hot Lap Hump Day. You saw me run with them way back when, but I'll tell you one thing about the Rick Motek guys. Good guys, fun to hang out with. If you're just looking for a place to go turn some laps with others and have a good time, go to Rick Motek, get involved, go race with them. They do that on iRacing, third Wednesday of every month. So March 21st will be the next one. Sad news. I think if you're a gamer, you tend to be a little more into the computers, maybe even a little more into science and even space and all those kind of things. Anyway, Stephen Hawking died yesterday, and a real shame, because this guy was a genius on one hand, and I think he was a huge inspiration, not just for people with challenges, but I think he was an inspiration to those who think we can do better with our world. And I think he was one of the grounding forces in people understanding that we do play a role in what goes on our planet. And we can argue over to what level. I don't want to bring that up. But I think that Stephen Hawking clearly was one of the people that made people pay attention to science, pay attention to physics, and we wouldn't drive the sims that we drive today if it weren't for people having pushed those type of things hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years ago, to be honest with you. So, rest in peace, Stephen Hawking. Nvidia is going to actually start making the new GPUs. So that's coming up Q3 2008. This is basically in an attempt to make cards that are different for cryptocurrency versus gaming. And I think Nvidia might be a little concerned right now that another cryptocurrency is not their interest. Sure, they want to make cards, but they have been known as the kick-ass graphics cards for gaming, and I don't think they want their name changed or altered because of its use in other applications. So maybe that's why they're trying to separate it and make it very clear that, hey, we focus on gaming. We love you guys. Next up. Oh, this is why you're going to want one of the links at thesimpit.com. Tech Power Up is doing a contest and giving away a build-your-own silence PC. So we're talking some good stuff here. You could win it for free. So I highly encourage you to go to the link at the Simpit, go to the visit page, enter that contest, and get yourself a free computer. That's all I'm going to say about it. Including other things, I'm just going to move right along. Another very F-Zero futuristic-looking video game coming out, and this is the Games Workshop right now. Very, oh, what did you call the thing? Luke Skywalker? How could I forget what it was called? What was his land cruiser? His little thing. It looks like one of those guys. Hovercraft type thing. So, that's a game coming in the future. This is cool. Rally Legend is coming to Switch, so just another title as that platform tries to get up to speed at all. I've never used a Switch. I have to be Land Speeder. That's it. Thank you. Land Speeder. I think that's it. Excuse me. Another funny game. This one, I got to admit, this would make a Monday Fun Day title in a minute. It's coming out for the Nintendo Switch, but this is Coffin Dodgers. John Hill was talking about how, as an older guy, he has fun. He's 20, 30 years younger than he is on the calendar, that's for sure. Look at these old timers getting on their scooters and launching rockets and racing against the Death Reaper. The Grim Reaper, sorry. I do lots of nerd tests behind, if you guys don't realize it. Some of it's very subliminal, but yeah, absolutely. Another anti-gravitator racing game. Look at this. We have a whole trend of levitation racing games. Forget our petrol cars. Forget the tires. We talk about tire models. You want to build a great racing sim and not argue tire model? Just make the thing hover. Farm Simulator's doing expansion, and the only reason I mention it is because, what do you know, their big competitor, Pure Farming, is announcing 7 DLCs. So we actually have Battle of the Farming Simulators. You never did that, didn't you? In chat on Discord, weren't you just talking about how you are an older guy, but you're more inspired than people 20, 30 years you're younger? Oh, Dennis says Coffin Dodger sucks. That's too bad. Very too bad. Billy says V Rally 4, not Rally Legend. Sorry about that, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. Gotta love talking. V Rally. There we go. Did I say Rally? Oh, the Rally Legend. I'm sorry. I read the top title and not the main point. Thank you, Dennis. Well, thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Billy. Losing it today. So Battle of the Farm Simulators, and it's fascinating. I've played them. I've loved them. I will admit, I played Farm Simulator 15 a ton. I bought Farm Simulator 17, and it lost its luster for me. I played it for about 1 hour, and I'm like, yeah, I've already done this. There's nothing that new to really keep me going. So, anyway, but there is a Battle of the Farming Sims. They do very well. If you look at the ratings, they do exceptionally well. Mention this very quickly. If you are looking to build your own computer, this is a case that is on sale right now. Tempered glass cover, cool fans, lights, the works. It's a $100 case. It's actually on sale for 25 bucks. By the time you take the rebate and the sale, you can get that case for 25 bucks. Thought that was a pretty good deal, maybe worth mentioning to you guys. GT Online's got another little thing. They're bunker and occupy mode, and you can win more in-game credits and all that. So I'm fascinated when I think of Grand Theft Auto, how long ago the title came out. But when you look at top-selling games lists, Grand Theft Auto is always on the list still, like top 10, top 5. This is how they do it. Quality, engaging content. You think about iRacing, and they trickle out a new car, a new track. You think about Assetto Corsa, and in the past it was like trickle out, oh, here's 8 new cars and 8 tracks. Same thing for most of our traditional sims. You got to kind of almost think of Assetto Corsa Competizione being like one of these very captivating DLCs or add-on packs. I know it's a new game, but stay with what I'm saying here. Grand Theft Auto has had a knack for releasing expansions that change the game to a whole new level for those who've been playing it for years already. And that keeps them going. It also has them telling their friends. It also has people jumping back into the game. So, just a little thought there. Alibaba, biggest e-commerce site in China. They are actually backing esport for Olympic inclusion. I've seen a few articles on this. They were very specific to say non-violent esports, meaning I don't think we're going to see Call of Duty in the Olympics. Oh, I can't even believe we're having this conversation in the Olympics, and I wonder how offended a Olympic level athlete, you know, whether you're soccer or curling or, you know, luging, how offended are you that after a life of 18-hour days of training, that, no offense to us, but some kid sitting at his desk is going to be in the same thing? And I dare say that the challenges of getting to the top might not be any different, but the amount of effort and dedication might be a little more on the real athlete side. What are your thoughts on that? I think that a guy who has gaming aptitude could be the best gamer in just a matter of a year. I think a guy who's always been in sport, who an aptitude, could switch to a new sport in as little as 3 or 4 years and get to the best because they are already an athlete and trained and have the cardio. And then it's that they have the aptitude for that new sport. Yeah, that's a great question. Is racing violent? I think violence might be determined more in like a court of law, like committing a crime with a gun, or violence like in Grand Theft Auto, or even in Road Redemption. I think that racing in its nature is a sport that has violent race results. And then, oh, who was it? I saw the comment. Somebody made the perfect comment, but oh yeah, it was Dave. Forza is certainly violent. So there you go. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that topic. I think I mentioned this yesterday. This is that 49-inch. This is the best view I've seen of this new monitor. The 49-inch super ultra wide, and I'm still wondering what the best setup is. I like my triples, don't get me wrong. I don't like the bezels. I don't like the super narrow feeling of the view. But that could be the answer. I want to get one of these really badly, and I want to test it. And if it's terrible, I'll return it or sell it. I don't know. I can't imagine it would be terrible. But yeah, that looks like it might be the ultimate setup for me. And I've been back and forth on it. Yeah, it's almost too wide, Randy. And it's not so much the actual distance, it's that it doesn't cure my issue of a triple screen as it is, other than the bezels, and that it looked beautiful and clean. So anyway, just the best view I've seen of one of those 49-inch gaming monitors. Red Bull Gaming has built a studio. Is this not like the 10th article that I've read us about various different gaming esports studios, production studios and places being built for what we do? Never heard this 5 years ago. Never even would have imagined it going on. But when this one happens from Red Bull, let's face it, it's a little different. This one's going to be a little more automotive-centric, I dare say, than the other ones that we've talked about. So who knows what this could lead to in the future. I read the article yesterday about streaming on YouTube being a career of poverty for 96% of the world. The real avenue of the future, if you're young and looking for a career direction, John said it, follow the money. The money is in the esports side of gaming right now. Money way beyond anything else. I mean, sure, if you're a lead developer on a sim like Gran Turismo, Forza, Project Cars, even Assetto, you're probably making a pretty darn good living. But if you're looking for the area where you have a lot of jobs and a good amount of money and probably traveling the world doing it, getting in on the media side or getting on the gaming side could be a very good avenue for you guys. You know, obviously I'm beyond those years of starting over. But if you're young and you're just sitting there working at Starbucks or whatever, think about it. How do you get in? Turtle Beach was named as the official partner for the Gfinity Elite Series. And I mention this because it's big for gaming. I also mention this because as we grow our sport, well, what if I'm sponsored by Triton? You know, that's kind of unfortunate, because I'll tell you what, at their big esport gaming competition, they're going to dictate what wheel, what rig, perhaps what headphones you wear, and that's kind of unfortunate when we individual athletes depend on our sponsorship for our dollars. It's a little different than the NFL, where I'm banking on what I get paid by my team in the NFL. I mean, I might get paid a little for my team, but it might be on me to carry personal sponsorship, and this kind of stuff could step on the toes of people. I mean, if you're one of the Redline guys and you go to an event and they make you use Thrustmaster wheels and you're sponsored by Fnatic, that's a little uncool in some ways. Next up, oh, this struck my heart. DIY rig. This is just on Reddit. The man sent it in. Thank you very much, the man. Not only for this story, but for the countless stories that you have sent me. Is that a DIY shifter on the right side? Is that like a mod to a shifter? I believe that's a mod to his Logitech shifter, if I'm not mistaken. But look at this, you guys. It does not take much. You can build a rig out of anything. So kudos to him on a job well done on that rig. This is not a news story. This actually came out a year ago at this point, but somebody sent it in, and we talked about Jan Martinborough, in his triumphs as a gamer to pro-life racer, and he might be, I think he's the best example of a gamer turned pro. Oh, remember that? Oh, I remember that. That was Jan. He's the one who flipped the car at Nürburgring, at Nordschleife. Anyway, if you want to check this out, I do have the link, but you can hear all about it. And this is like the full-blown, real deal version of his story, you know, by ESPN Stories. Look at that. Flat-bottom cars. What do you think's going to happen when they catch a little air? Exactly that. That was a very unfortunate day. I shouldn't be laughing very much. This just in. I almost was a little late on the show as a couple stories rolled in. I think they alluded to it, but iRacing announces officially, or at least Red Bull is now announcing it, the Red Bull GRC World Championships of Esports, and it's going to start immediately. And so obviously they have limited tracks at this point, but that's not stopping them. March 22nd is when qualification is going to begin, so it looks like they're going to be doing, like they did with the other new disciplines on the dirt oval. They'll have a qualification season essentially to seat the grid or get you ranked, and then begin the official series, it looks like, on May 10th. They'll be broadcast, and this is going to be a big deal. Mitchell de Jong, I don't think he's lost a race yet. You might be racing against, you know, a real-life GRC guy if he keeps it up in the real season. Another thing, FA Racing. This is Fernando Alonso Racing, G2 Logitech team. We talked a bit about them. Here's a video here talking about how they are way beyond just the iRacing championships that they're now competing as a team in, but they're also giving it a go at dirt games. So here GT Topa is leading in the 4th qualifier for the World Championships. So we are starting to see the FA Racing team make their presence known in the world of sim racing. This is Fernando Alonso, you know, basically putting his name and branding with Logitech and getting into the whole esport world. So go show them up. Get out there in dirt game. Get out there and get into this championship and see if you can out-qualify their great driver. That is going to take it to the end of the news-type stories. I do want to talk about tonight. So tonight we'll all be back. It's been a long time since I've been in the 90s DTM cars on Assetto Corsa, missing the SRS series very much. So tonight I'm back to attack the track, and I'll need it more than ever because I haven't driven those cars in 3 weeks. So if you go to Sim Racing Systems and you just look at their list, you will find our series. Tonight we start off the week at Barcelona, which has actually been up and running since the end of the last race on Friday, thanks to Dennis the Big One. And if you want to see where you would stand on the leaderboard, just go to simpit.com. Right here, the leaderboard. Click it, and it's going to open you, excuse me, open this. Bear with me. And this is our leaderboard. This shows you exactly what it's going to take to be competitive in our series. We have at this point, thank you, Dennis, for getting all this set up. We have a server, a practice server 24/7 going on. So you can get out there and practice anytime in the actual race conditions that we're going to run. We're running the Mercedes against the Alfa, against the BMW. And tonight we will be at Barcelona. So that'll be at 6 p.m. for me. And beyond that, I mentioned it the other day, but we're going to get crazy Friday night. And I say crazy, this is going to happen at 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 1 a.m. for you East Coasters. This is Nim Cross. If you don't know that name, I'm going to tell you. Nim Cross is the chief steward at iRacing, which means if you did something crazy and someone filed a protest and you got a message kicking you out, well, suspending you, it came from Nim. If somebody had to make the call, it was Nim. And Nim's history in sim racing goes way beyond being the chief steward. There's a reason. He earned that spot very well. We're going to interview him, talk to him about his past before iRacing. We're going to talk to him about iRacing and what it's like being the chief steward. And then we'll maybe talk a little bit about the future of sim racing. So that's going to be 10 p.m. Friday night with Nim Cross. And the last story I have of the day is a charity event that's going on. So this is the Simport Racing, and they are doing a Le Mans 12 hours for the Cancer Fund for Children. And this is going on June 9th. And if you're looking for an event to just do good, a special event to run in, but beyond that, you're going to, be able to help out a proper charity. So they've got that going on the 9th, and you can go to Simport Racing, simport-racing.com. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh. Simport-racing.com and check it out for yourself. So that is going to do it. That is the end of today's news. Beyond 6 p.m. tonight for our Attack the Track at Barcelona and the sim racing system, I'm still trying to get up to speed in that Silver Crown. So I'm going to be probably running another practice session during the day. Billy Strange is helping me out with an alternate setup. And so I want to give that car a try. And what I'm finding is that car has been very, very difficult to drive for me. Not drive, but get the most out of. I'm seeing here Wolfgang mentioned something. This is a Nikki theme video. Oh, now I'm playing you guys an ad. This just in. Breaking news. This just in. Another video from Nikki Theme as he's doing his Paul Ricard tests for Aston Martin. And this guy's got quite the reputation now as the sim racer. And beyond that, a real-life Aston Martin driver. This guy's the real deal, so you can check that out. I don't have the link in the description, but you can do a search for Aston Martin Nikki Theme, and you will be able to find it. So that is going to do it for today. I will be back at some point just doing some testing. If you want to watch it, you can help out or watch just for the fun of it. And we will be back tonight at 6 p.m. for that Attack the Track Barcelona, where we're going to do a little work on the setup today, try to get that car a little more stable than it was in the first few weeks for me, and get a little more out of it, and try... you guys aren't seeing it? Why is that not showing up? That's really weird. Oh, I wonder what my... That is really strange. Why is it not changing screens? Something went very weird. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out what has gone wrong with my center screen. Very interesting. Oh, I'm sorry about that, you guys. Something went wrong with my broadcast software, and you didn't see the Nikki theme, but cool video there. You can check that out. Sorry about that. How embarrassing. But we're just going to have to roll for the punches. Anyway, good thing we're at the end of the show anyway, so we're not missing too much. That's going to do it. We'll be back a couple more times throughout the day. Be back tomorrow morning with another edition of the Pit Stop. Thank you so much for being part of the pit crew, hanging out, and just talking sim racing each and every day. This is the Sim Pit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.